All right, everyone. Happy Saturday. Little impromptu live here. So I was just working on some stuff here. Pardon my messy hair. I haven't done anything with myself today other than work. My wife and kids left me for the day. I missed the train. They went to the park without me because I was too buried in work. And so since they left, I finished up my work that I wanted to do for today. And I thought I'd hop on a live. So I don't know if anyone's around on a Saturday or not, but anything in terms of your sales, outreach, anything like that, if you have questions, we'll see if anyone joins even, but if you have questions, I'll help you with anything. Copywriting, process, multi-channel, deliverability, closing, any of that kind of stuff. So again, I don't know if anyone's around on a Saturday afternoon, probably not. So I might just be talking to myself. But I'm going to try to go live a little bit more often and help the community out. I don't have a ton of time to record videos and edit videos and do all that kind of stuff lately. And so I'd rather just be hopping on live calls and get to know everybody a little bit more and then help you. So if you're watching this, feel free to chat, send me a message and ask me any questions you possibly have. So related to sales, outreach, any of that kind of stuff. So, and if nobody joins, I don't think anyone's around on Saturday, but so I might have made a mistake, but I might show a couple things while we're live. So let's see if I've never gone live just in YouTube before. So post in the chat if you have any questions, but I want to show you some stuff while I'm waiting for anybody to show up. If anyone's around, love to get everybody's feedback on what we're working on at Upticks here. And I swear I'm not trying to plug the software, but feedback's always good. So in our effort to continue to build out the best sales automation software on the planet, one of the things that we've gotten progress is a pretty advanced update to our sequencer. We've already obviously got email, all the nerdy email deliverability stuff that you could possibly imagine under the sun. But we're releasing what are called sequence paths. And it was interesting. I was just mapping out my sales process here. We're hiring some reps. And there's a lot of applications to automating your sales flow. So a lot of opportunities from a cold outreach perspective, a lot of opportunities from deal pipeline nurturing follow-up perspective, a lot of opportunities for increasing lifetime value with building out robust sales processes. So basically, sequence pass, if you're familiar with Zapier and Zapier pass by any means, we're basically building something similar, but in the sales space, sales and outreach. All right. And, no matter where your lead's at in the journey and life cycle, this could be for cold outreach. It could be for, middle of funnel opportunities with what I call channel stacking and lead looping, or it could be your deal and pipelines. There's opportunities for automating and customizing the workflow for your leads, prospects, customers, the whole nine. So don't be shy if you have any questions, if you're joining. So if it ends up being anyone anyone joins the live. So, but anyway, this is kind of what we're working on. So some really cool stuff. We've already added recently. Maybe you've seen we've added the research, automated lead research with web scraping, and we'll be adding LinkedIn and company LinkedIn into the mix for then generative text generation. So we've got ChatGPT built into this. You can build your prompts and send any data point through over to ChatGPT at any point in your sales process. Embed that into an email. You could embed it into an SMS message, or you could connect potentially with, you could do that in LinkedIn as well. Or if you're using another LinkedIn automation tool, you could most likely plug that in with your LinkedIn automation tool. So kind of some cool updates here that we're doing to help just streamline, automate sales processes and any step of the buyer journey. So that's what we got going on so far, and hoping to release this month and kind of revolutionize the sales space with this new unique model. All right, let me check. I don't think anyone's around on Saturday, so I'll just keep talking and rambling on in my Saturday boredom here. I think I had a couple cold emails I wanted to go over at some point as well. If you're I got this cold email the other day, and I thought it was pretty funny, just the way it was written. I guess it's been about a month since I got it, but I added into my Rolodex of cold emails to tear down. And if you're sending cold emails, basically the story is here: don't be an idiot. Okay, it's not cool to have bad grammar. Okay, like this is just stupid. Sorry, Doug. So I replied back to this email and said, I mean this respectfully, but I personally would never trust a company who can't use proper grammar in their emails. I'm not sure who thought this was a good idea, but it makes you look incompetent. All right. If you do incompetent things with your email outreach, what does that speak to in terms of like how you might be able to execute for people? Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I also see people like on LinkedIn who think it's cool to like end all their sentences without punctuation and stuff like that. This person used punctuation in their emails, but I see it on LinkedIn all the time. I could probably pull that up, but like, don't be stupid with your outreach. This is like the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. Like, why would you start a sentence without capitalization? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I know that it's like trendy to have bad grammar, I guess, but you look like a complete idiot. I don't think most people are doing this, but I thought it was just hilarious. Especially like check out the email. So we partnered with another management consultant to help them achieve a sizable 68% increase in revenue after we optimized their deal pipeline in HubSpot, allowing them to retain more customers. Like, they're selling pipeline optimization. How well is your pipeline optimized if you can't even spell right? You can't even use proper grammar. So don't be an idiot. All right. Also this, like, I think we're pretty much past the fake get Outlook for Android or sent from my iPhone. I think we're pretty much past that this day and age. But it's just stupidity. All right. It's really stupid. Here's another one. This one's, I don't know. I took a screenshot of this. Um, hey Patrick, big fan of upticks. Congrats on the growth last year. That's huge. I like the complimentary angle here, but I can tell it's pretty fake. Like you don't know if we grew last year. No clue. Are you looking to be featured on a top 10 list for Success Magazine's trailblazing tech companies to watch for in 2023? I don't know when this. Um, I don't know if they didn't update their template or something, or when I took a screenshot here. But this article will be full feature. This will be a full featured article that can include your name, company info, and a link to your site or social media. Mind if I share more info? Like this isn't actually a horrible email. But I know a lot of this email outreach here is, yeah, they're trying to position it like, you could be listed, but they want to charge crazy fees with it. But this actually isn't a horrible email. This is a pretty good in terms of emails that I get. I don't love this. Give me a little bit more context. Okay, in an email. All right, but overall, like this is a pretty good email, I thought. It's short. The only kind of negative feedback I had here was in this section, but some people might be kind of duped into that. All right. Good call to action. It's the lead magnet, basically. All right. And a nice little quote down here. Although I have a little bit of a criticism here when I know this is kind of fake. So being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. So it's like, well, this isn't very honest. All right. I could get past that. Not a huge deal. That's for sure. But overall, not a bad email. Much better than this atrocity. So this thing here was just god awful. I don't know who the hell thought this was a good idea. But help with your email. I don't know what else I have in this file, but it doesn't look like anyone's around Saturday afternoon. So what I want to do is just do more lives and answer questions and help people. So if you're watching this and you want help with strategies or advice or anything like that in the future, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for me to go live. I'll try to schedule these in the future. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit the notifications. But if you need help with sales outreach, anything like that, we'll do more of these, and I'll try to schedule them out. And anything I can be of value on these, I just want to give back to the YouTube community here. A lot of our growth has come from the YouTube channel, although the channel's not huge at this point. We get a lot of our growth from the channel and the videos that I've put out in the past. And anything I can do to help, I'll be doing. You guys can chat. I'll help with copy, help with strategy, closing. Anything I can possibly do to help. So I don't think I have a whole lot else here to share with anybody, but other than if you're doing outbound sales, I say other than, all right, so this could go on a long tangent here, but my wife and kids aren't home, so I'll probably just sit here and talk into the void. If you're doing sales and outreach or cold email, you've done cold email, you've probably seen it's getting harder and harder. And the the challenge is everyone's doing it. Okay. And because everyone's doing it, that means uh, it's easy to tune out messaging. Okay. So it's a lot harder to get results and capture prospects' attention because so many people are doing cold email now. It used to be get like crazy, crazy good results with just automated emails. But the rise of tools like Upticks and others like competitors to Upticks who've done like kind of the unlimited cold email game, unlimited inboxes and that kind of stuff. I'm not blaming them, but it's kind of ruined cold email for many people, and it's made it much harder to get results. And there's a number of things that we got to do. We got to do right in order to get results with cold email. Okay. So everyone's pretty much aware, like deliverability, of course, is like the main thing with email. But here's what I've found over time. We've fixed email deliverability, pioneering things like Spintax and email validation built in the sequencer and like all these things. But what I found is people just started seeing more bad cold email copy. And so in this day and age, like it's not enough because there's so many emails getting sent out. Your competition isn't like your direct competition. Like, my competition really isn't other software platforms like Upticks. It's other people sending cold emails. Okay. So you got to be better than the next person that's landing in the inbox. It's not enough to just land in the inbox. So, we've done a few things, of course, to make this easier. The personalization is performing way better with pattern interrupts with our cold emails, performing way better than just automated emails, which is really helping us convert cold emails at a higher pace. But even so, it's still not like it used to be. So the next thing that I see with people making the mistake thinking that email is going to be their saving grace. And a lot of people think that, not that you can't get low hanging fruit and get results with cold email. You absolutely can, of course. But I'm seeing a big shift back, especially from the agencies, of needing to add multi-channel. Because if you're just doing email, you're getting channel choked. Okay. There's only so many people that are going to respond to emails, right? And depending on how big your ticket size is, how big your TAM, your total addressable market is, you might run out of leads at some point, right? And most people aren't following up nurturing, which is kind of the third thing. But the reality is most people are taking the path of least resistance, and that's cold email right now. And it's being used by everyone else. So there's a ton of competition. Okay, because you're squeezing your opportunities into a narrow funnel, right? If you stop channel choking yourself, your funnel opens up. All right, and you can do that by adding multiple channels. This is our core thesis right now. And then the last part that I see people doing here is one, you probably just do an email, right? Because it's easy. Got the competition. Right. Two, maybe you're sending an initial cold email sequence, but you're not nurturing and following up. So you're rejecting what I call silent buyers. All right. The people in your lead list who aren't saying yes or aren't saying no, but you're just trying to fill the top of the funnel with more and more cold leads, try to get the low-hanging fruit, which are oftentimes not your best prospects. And you're rejecting your warm leads who are staying silent in your lead list, and you're rejecting them before the buying window, before every time you don't continue to nurture your leads. Okay. So if you're a business that doesn't have the luxury of a huge market, you're you're losing a ton of opportunity here. Okay. Just in an effort to try to get the low hanging fruit. All right. When in reality, most of your conversions and a lot of your results are probably going to come from, I call these loops. So you got your email stack, you got your phone stack, right? You've got, maybe say you're doing LinkedIn, you got your LinkedIn stack. Okay. But if we don't get any results here, you want to continue nurturing. So you let them cool off for a while, and then you start the process over again. Okay. And if you do this, you're going to substantially increase your odds of success. If you're a business and you're going to hire an agency, I would never hire an agency that doesn't have a plan like this in place. Otherwise, you will face a final day of reckoning. You as the agency, you will face the day of reckoning of getting fired. You as the client will face the day of reckoning of firing the agency if there's not a long-term strategy. Okay? Unless you have this huge total addressable market that is infinite and can continually get more and more emails, just emails, right? Because a lot of people, cold email has exploded in the space, right? If you've got a limited total addressable market, you can't really scale unless you build in a stack, all right? And then loop concept into your business. All right. This is basically the Uptick's thesis and our strategy and plan that we help people implement with our software. I'm guilty of pretty much only doing cold email content. It was a bit of a strategy when we first launched. And so a lot of people, just start with email, but I guess in a way I've done myself a disservice because we've always had multi-channel built into the platform, and we've always had automation to build in consistent lead nurturing. And now we're making it much, much easier to execute on a strategy like this with our sequence paths. If you're familiar with Zapier, this might look a little familiar. So we're taking some of those Zapier path concepts and building it into a sales environment. So there's so many applications to this. But Upticks has always had a multi-channel strategy because I had the problem of getting channel choked. Okay. When I first started, I started out cold emailing with my first company. Upticks is my third business, but I started out just cold calling or cold emailing, excuse me. And then that got me so far. And I realized, and I was selling to bar and restaurant owners at the time with the franchise Sculpture Hospitality. Right? We were on Bar Rescue, the TV show. So I was master franchisee here for Minnesota and built it into a top 10 in the company out of a few hundred franchisees. But I got channel choked with just email, and I was doing personalized email at the time. That got me my start. I started door knocking. That got me so far. And then we started cold calling. Right. So I've experienced the problem of getting channel choked and piecemealing all these different softwares together. And that's why I built Upticks ultimately, is to handle this exact use case. And because I know the problems. And now I'm seeing a lot of cold email agencies having to start doing multi-channel because they're realizing it's much harder to get results, and it's hard to get clients. And clients are starting to not trust agencies as much. There's getting a lot of bad rep, right? Because they've tried agency after agency, and there's a lot of promises and not a lot of throughput. And I know most people are well intentioned, and especially if you're a young agency owner, you probably got sold into some, the concept of just launching cold email, and you've probably got some initial results. I'm not saying you're a total failure or anything like that, and not that you can't be successful for some clients, but you're realizing that it's hard, isn't it? And you're only as good as your last appointment, your last positive reply, right? Otherwise, your client gets impatient, regardless if you have a pay per lead deal. If they have to invest energy into it and it's not yielding anything, right? And they probably paid a setup fee, right? Or maybe you're charging a retainer, which I think is great. But they're going to get impatient if they can't get the results. Okay. And again, I'm not saying you can't get results, but oftentimes it takes, there's only really a few ways to get results. It's hyper scaling, like crazy scale, which is only great for certain businesses, certain business types, right? Huge total addressable markets, hyper personalization. Okay. So if you have a smaller addressable market and you start doing more hyper targeted cold emails, you can get better results that way, right? Or stacking and looping channels, stacking channels and then looping for long term nurturing. Okay. So I'm starting to see, I guess, I mean, I probably had 5 calls this week um, with agencies having the problem of not getting the results with email. Um, Scott said, dude, this is on my wall. Hey, Scott, thanks for joining. Yeah, stacking, looping, personalization. Yeah, that's the secret sauce. Like people can get results with cold email, but it really takes a huge total addressable market. And if you don't have that, then you're kind of screwed. And you have to build an engine. You have to build a machine. So Scott, I'm glad to hear that you're looking at adding and stacking channels and looping, adding personalization, content across all channels. Like I don't know your business, but that's what it takes right now. That's the way to, if you want, just cold email is great to some degree, but it's a house of cards. And I've seen way too many prospects now. Cold email is kind of getting a bad name for some people. That doesn't work. We had a cancellation the other day saying, "Hey, I don't want to contribute, like cold email. It's, not what it used to be, and I don't want to contribute to the noise that's going on right now." So people are starting to get fed up with it. Well, the reality is they kind of shot themselves in the foot by just relying on email. Scott, I'm curious to hear. Have you deployed this strategy already, or is this something that you're building currently in your business? Not sure if you're still there or not, but if you're currently building it, starting a personal brand, building it, awesome. Yeah, if you're just starting, Scott, take this. Whether you use upticks or not, I don't care. Take this little roadmap here. This little I've got this in a lucid chart somewhere, but lead with cold email. Here's the best strategy you could implement from an outbound perspective, in my humble opinion. You lead with cold email. These are like your billboard ads, right? These are like your display network or your Facebook ads. So you're basically building your own ad network with cold email. But if you do this right, most of your conversions will come on the phone. You need good phone numbers and stuff like that. It's certainly a challenge. You'll get some low hanging fruit here for sure, right? Try to increase your reply rates doing personalization. All right, it's a pattern interrupt. You'll stand out across the noise, or you'll stand out, against all the other noise in the market. Um, I see. Okay, you're looking at make and high level. Here's like, make is great. Go high level is great. I just had a call literally yesterday with a guy using high level who's tried doing cold email. Go high level is a great platform, but they're great for sale. For marketing. Um, with marketing tools, like they're not set up for deliverability. So cold email, you want a cold email tool. Yeah. So I have an instantly clone. Yeah. Yeah. So the challenge you're going to run into with that, Scott, is that you can do your email from the instantly clone, but then you're going to have to add another tool if you want to hit multi-channel. All right. So if you want to hit the phones, Upticks doesn't have LinkedIn automation. We have LinkedIn task management. We don't have LinkedIn automation. We integrate with some tools, but LinkedIn is channel restricted because of the volume. There you can't do enough volume to really justify the conversions. You will get way more conversions on the phone. If that wasn't true and it was LinkedIn, I would have built LinkedIn automation into the platform. But there's too many restrictions with LinkedIn, volume restrictions, and then it's a house of cards anyway. You can get shut down. Not that you can't or you shouldn't do it. For us, it's a third channel. You will get most of your conversions on the phone. When I had my outbound agency, which actually we started cold calling for other franchisees. The CEO asked me to start a cold calling service for the franchisees here, and we're doing cold calling. Then when we added email, we started adding email in front of cold calls. We doubled our call to booking ratio. So a good call to booking ratio with just straight cold calling is 1%. We doubled it to about 2% when we started doing email. But if you look at some of these kind of conservative metrics here, I guess, if we change some of this stuff, you probably, if you're doing email, if it's like kind of the first time, if you do a couple thousand leads a month, this is probably closer to what you would see. But if you target anybody who doesn't reply to your emails, if you can get a 10% call to connection ratio, so a 1 out of every 10 calls you connect with somebody, and then 1 out of every 10 of those connections book an appointment, it's 25 appointments. Now it takes labor, it takes time, it takes effort, way more than just email, of course. But the differences are stark. This can work really well locally too. Doing this in a local presence is amazing. So that's the challenge you're going to run into with the instantly clone is you're going to be channel restricted unless you add another software and play, which you absolutely can. It gets a little more complicated. And then your data is separate in different platforms. You can't leverage that data, and eventually you can't build a machine like this. You can't build a sales process this could be cold outreach. This could be your deal pipeline. This could be your upsell for new customers. Sky's the limit. And so there's limited opportunity there. But Kirsty, I'm glad to hear you're thinking about doing multi-channel, whether you use our platform or not. I think it's the right move. And I would do it early and often. That's for sure. Vastly increased odds of success. Yeah. I don't know what your ticket is, Scott, your average ticket size, if you have an idea of what you're going to charge, but there's obviously a point in which cold calling doesn't make sense. right? If you're only charging, a few $100 or something like, obviously you're not going to make cold calling the economics work. But if you're in the, medium to higher ticket, um, then then calling works fantastic. Yeah, awesome. Started to distribute multi-platform. Um, Swift Cloud ERP. Which channel would you recommend for an international SaaS ERP looking at acquiring agencies to resell the product? All channels. All channels. Our thesis and strategy is multi-channel. It's a decentralized sales strategy. You rely on one channel, the house of cards can come down. And you'll maximize conversions substantially by doing multi-channel. Swift Cloud. Not sure if you're still there or not, but happy to clarify that. Yeah, Scott. So yeah, distribute multi-channel, and whether you use us or not, it's completely up to you. $2,500 minimum. You should be able to make that work. What you might want to do is with your emails, what you do is you take your data and you focus on the leads who are showing the most engagement. Okay, so if your starting point is $2,500 minimum, you should be able to make that work. It's probably on the lower end of the phone strategy, but I would target specifically the people who are showing the most engagement here. So optimize for the most opens, and I don't recommend link clicks, but at some point, maybe email like 2 or 3, you could throw a link in there. Optimize for maybe multiple link clicks or many opens. And the reason for that, because open tracking and link click tracking isn't that accurate. And in tools, there's a lot of fake open activity or non-open activity or fake link click activity or non-link click activity, stuff like this. But if you optimize for multiple, then it's less likely to be a bot, and then you'll get your most engaged. So I would do it after they've received. I like a waterfall method. So if you do your whole email sequence first, so they have a chance of seeing the most emails from you, then you can narrow down the people who aren't engaging and put them in your phone stack. So they're most likely. Then you hit them, a few days or a week after that initial email sequence, and they should have some context about your offer. And focus locally initially until you have your stuff dialed in. Been an SEO for 25 years, so you're starting over. Yeah, it sounds like it. SEO there's obviously a lot of changes, disruption going on in that space. Always, for the most part. What's the place of AI in all this? We like AI with emails. So we're using our own tool to automate lead research. This is our new sequencer. It's not quite released yet. It should be released hopefully in the next couple weeks. So we're researching the website automatically, and we add that into a custom property and timeline into the Uptick software. And then we have ChatGPT built in to do generative text on this lead research. And we're leading the emails with a kind of a complementary personalization. But we're taking it a step further. We're not just personalizing the first email. We're personalizing every email in the sequence. And if you compare our sequences before and our sequences after, our reply rates are way up. Our positive interested rates are way up as well. And that's one portion of AI in this that can be used in the process and optimize. There's a number of other things that AI can help with as well, but everyone's kind of scratching the surface on that. with obviously ChatGPT is about a year old, and it's getting used more and more with outreach. And of course, prospects and stuff will pick up on this and whatnot. But it does show a higher level of effort regardless. And so there's a level of respect there that happens with your email if you're just doing email, for instance. But it's a good opener if you're picking up the phone, which obviously I highly recommend. It's part of our strategy. If you're picking up the phone after those initial emails, now it's like, okay, I've led with personalization, and now I even picked up the phone. There's a huge segment of the market that just respects the hustle, right? And that they're not just another number in an automated lead database or automated lead outreach strategy from some big lead database, right? They're being treated as an actual human, as annoying as it might be, right? Some people will never like cold outreach ever, right? We can't optimize for those, but there's a big segment of the market that respects the hustle for sure. Like if I get a good cold email from somebody, there's a good chance I won't reply, but I'll let it just sit in my inbox. Okay. If I get a call from that person, I'm not big on answering the phone. But if they leave a voicemail and I hear it and it's like all of a sudden I got a phone call and a voicemail and that person sent me a good email, it's personalized, I'm respecting the hustle. I might not get back to them right away, but I'll remember them, and if they continue to nurture and follow up, right? Loop 1, loop 2, loop 3, that's going to go a long ways with prospects this day and age. So many people now are looking for instant gratification with just cold email that the market and the buyers aren't buying it as much anymore. They're just not. That's just the way it is. Again, there's always going to be low-hanging fruit out there. 1 to 3% of leads might be in market to buy something at any given time. Well, when you start calculating 1 to 3% times what maybe your deliverability is times what, if they actually have time to reply that day, right? And then if they actually want to get on a call that day, well, not that day, but even in the next week, like, right? If you get them in that snapshot of time, like the odds are very slim. Given enough volume, you'll definitely get some low-hanging fruit, but it's house cards. Your wife is Spanish. Yeah, Scott. So your wife is Spanish. Maybe she can do the calls. Yeah, I mean, if you're selling to men, there's, I mean, our when I had my agency, we had girls on the phone. We had guys, mostly men, but the girls actually booked at a higher call to booking ratio. They're call to booking ratio. They're also more methodical with their calls, but the success rate was much higher for women than it was men. Men would bang out more dials, but women have a little bit of a cheat code because a lot of business owners are men, and it's easier to talk to a girl on the phone. But yeah, Scott, let's see. I know it's just one piece of the puzzle. In fact, I ignored email for a long time, but I use to be the king. Nice. Yeah. That's okay. Obviously, we've got different things going on in life, and some channels, all channels work. But the more channels you can do, the less likely the failure rate is. Yeah, 10 clients. If I don't know if your average deal is $2,500 a month. Is your average deal $2,500 a month or lifetime? That starting point. If it's $2,500 a month, and all you need are 10. I mean, that's $25K. So, you get up to 10 clients if it is recurring revenue, then fantastic. Fastest way to get there is email and phone for sure. And if you could do local will be another cheat code. Proximity to your leads is a big cheat code. If you're specializing in a particular niche, you might be limited by locality. But if you're not really niched, then local's an awesome idea. Go meet them in person. That's how I built my franchise business. I was location restricted because the nature of a franchise, but that's how I built this into top 10 franchise in a few years. I had to focus locally. And then my agency, we started with franchise base, but when we really accelerated, we started doing local cold calling. We hit a 2% call to booking ratio, which is really good. And a lot of like local businesses numbers are just right on Google Maps. Right. Not that I'll just pull, I guess this is the first business I pulled up. Right. But there's a phone number, ask for the owner or whoever's in charge of marketing or whatever. Right. Like now once you get into like more like kind of national, like B2B companies and stuff like that, they're not as present. It's a little bit harder to get phone numbers, not impossible, but yeah, target monthly. Cool. Yeah. 2,500 a month. You'll crush it with email and phone. And if you have the ability, no, I don't know exactly what you're selling, Scott, but as long as the juice is worth the squeeze for the client, like 2,500, if it's a service, isn't really that high. It's pretty low. And a lot of small businesses need fractional employees, fractional help, so to speak. So, a lot of them can't afford to hire on a full-time specialized person, pay them $150,000 a year or whatever. So if you can solve that problem fractionally, it's great value. You just got to show them how to make the juice worth the squeeze, right? That's all you got to do. Let's see. Swift Cloud said AI channels work. Sorry for the typo. Meant to free with you that all channels work. Yep. Since I'm kind of starting over, I'm using all channels for my personal brand, and I'm going to focus on automation for business. Yeah, automation for business. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty popular space right now. But if you can do it locally, good. A lot of people are doing it at high level. It sounds like you've looked at high level, so I'm guessing you're looking at doing a high level model. Consider if they have a sales team or they have sales outreach or that kind of needs, like consider doing the same thing with upticks. Multi-channel outreach. High level is good for the marketing. Upticks is good for the sales side of things. But that super popular offer right now is high level, and doing it locally. That's the ticket for sure. Go meet them in person, sell them in person. There's so many people selling things online. They can't. Your cheat code is you're local. You can go meet them in person. You can't replace that. So when you pick up the phone and you cold call them, hey, this is Scott. So and so from company name. Does that name sound familiar? Oh no, doesn't sound familiar. Why are you calling? Anyway, hey, I'm in. I'm from St. Paul, right? So if I'm calling someone in Minneapolis, like, oh, okay, you're in St. Paul. Friction vastly reduced because I'm local. Huge cheat code. Yeah, social media, email services. Email's a good one. Social, if you're doing paid ads, that could be one. Organic social is a little tougher to get quicker results. You could get fairly quick results with more email marketing for sure. Organic social's tougher. Not to say you shouldn't do it, Scott, but it's a little bit of a tougher offer. It takes longer. I would lead with something that can get some quick wins. If they're doing paid ads, that's obviously a way to get some quick wins. Building out their systems, just integrating yourself into their business as much as possible. You should be able to do really good at that price point, $2,500 a month. They can't hire a full-time specialized employee who knows what the hell they're doing. So come to the table with a plan. I really like using Lucidchart and showing people, like I built this in Lucidchart, for instance. But if you go to them with a plan, like if they go to consider hiring somebody off the street, they probably don't have a plan, right? They're an employee and they're just going to be looking to take over whatever plan the business owner has implemented, which is probably not great. It's probably not a great plan. The business owner probably knows they're lacking in a bunch of different areas. So going to them with a plan, and then also them not having to pay a full-time salary plus benefits. They don't have to pay that. Yeah, you're fractional, so you're not going to work for them for 40, 50 hours a week, but that's why they're going to pay you a fraction of the amount, and you're going to come to the table with a plan. You should be able to crush that offer. Focus locally. Don't try to go everywhere. You can get your 10 customers wherever you're at. Hospitality, real estate, huge. Yeah. Hospitality, I have a lot of experience in hospitality. I was in this franchise business for over 10 years. Master franchisee, all that kind of stuff. Restaurant businesses are tough to sell to. Very tough. They're very cash poor, right? And everyone's selling to them. Everyone gold rushes into restaurants. Not to say you can't get results with them, but if you go after them, I would try to go after the bigger, like local chains. But if you don't have any experience in restaurants, that's going to be hard. So you might end up having to go to the smaller restaurants first, and they probably won't pay $2,500 a month. I would go to other businesses, other local businesses that have better margins, and they're not cash poor. Restaurants just have so many expenses. It's razor thin margins. Yeah. So, yeah, I hope that was helpful. But if anything else is on your mind, let me know. I know I've been rambling on here by myself for most of the time, but Saturday afternoon, I think it's actually really nice here. It's like 70 degrees out, and I'm 76 right now. I probably should be outside. Maybe I should go meet my kids and wife at the park here, but I'm sure we'll go to dinner. So, well, awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to pack this one up. I'm going to be doing more of these in the future. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, probably are since if you're on here, but if you're not subscribed to the channel, and I'm going to try to schedule some of these out in the future. And yeah, I'll try to post some recorded videos, but I'm going to try to do some more live events here, and be a little bit, and just try to answer questions and help people be a little bit more interactive instead of just the recorded videos and whatnot. So might come with an agenda on some of them. Others, I'm just going to do AMAs. So keep an eye out. In the future, I'll do more of these, and whatever you need help with, I'll try to help. All right. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Swift Cloud ERP. Hope, again, whether you use upticks or not, hope you crush it with your sales. Definitely implement multi-channel, and you will decentralize your process and have a lot better chance of success. All right. Have a great Saturday, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.